Okay, hi there. Welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Scorpio energy. And the first card we have the Ace of Cups. And the reason that came out is because of the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles, well, for some of you, you could particularly want to make a love offer to a Taurus, or a Taurus has made a love offer to you. But in general, Taurus energy has to do with our underlying philosophy of life and how we view life, and we all have a dualistic nature. We live in a dualistic world. We can choose to love investing in hope and faith and belief and love and believing in our dreams, or we can align with our more worldly focused life and make our life more about investing in the things of the world, making our life more about status and image and money and materialism, or investing in our more shadowy nature of being prideful, egotistical, stubborn, being in our ego and uh, because we have a certain status or image or wealth or something in the world, or we think we're good looking or whatever, we think that people should want to be in relationship with us. And some of the people who live life that way also want to make an offer to other people who live their life that way. But high vibe people are loving their worldly foundation so that they can move forward in life, and they're being very careful about who they want to invest their time, energy, and effort into, and they might be thinking of investing in something new emotionally. So you just have to kind of listen to your intuition. What are other people in your life investing in? What drives and motivates them? Is it money and materialism? Is it status and image? Is it being stubborn and prideful and egotistical? Or is it, high vibe people want to invest in other people who are careful about what they invest their time, energy, and effort into, because they kind of don't want to run their life off into the ditch. Life is about learning lessons. And if we feel like we've learned some lessons, we don't want to repeat those same types of jobs and relationships again because we've already been there and done that. Then we have the Nine of Cups, the Devil, the Page of Swords, and the Empress. And the reason those came out is because of the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles also has to do with our foundation and what type of foundation we want to build our life upon. The Ten of Pentacles is Virgo energy. Some people, they are people who put work and effort into being loving themselves, loving their own foundation, so that they can, from the Ace of Cups to the Nine of Cups, so that they can walk away from illusions, walk away from their more fearful, insecure nature, walk away from thinking life is about ego and image and status. It's about love. It's about, in Virgo energy, doing the work and effort within yourself to gain insight and wisdom, being willing to want to learn lessons in life, to shed layers of your more shadowy nature, your more worldly focused nature, which can be our more immature, indulgent, selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, immature ways of being, to become all that we can be. And in order to grow and mature ourselves and become all that we can be, we have to be willing to look at things that we maybe haven't wanted to look at within ourselves, about other people in the world, and to see the truth and not live in fantasy land and illusion about people, and to see the truth and take the lessons that we've learned from those life experiences to add to our foundation, and to learn to become more emotionally independent in the world and from other people that we can love, that we have a foundation with, that we maybe have invested in. They could be part of our family or our friend group, but it's kind of like just and fair that if we're in a foundation or a workplace or a family group or something, that everybody should be able to be emotionally independent within that foundation. Everybody should be allowed to be emotionally independent. Everyone has their own ideas of things that they like to do that makes them feel grounded, that make them feel happy, that make them feel emotionally fulfilled. Everybody can be on the spectrum of what makes them happy and what makes them fulfilled. But to say like everybody has to do it this way, You have to think the way I think. You have to be emotionally happy with the things that make me happy. You have to derive your sense of worth and value from the same things that I derive my sense of worth and value from. Well, that would be being in shadowy kind of Taurus and Virgo energy where it's unbudging. Everybody has to do things exactly the same. That's what will make us happy. And some people, that's what makes them happy. And those are the type of people they want to be in a relationship with also, is other people who are happy being unbudging, unchanging, doing things the way they've always done it, where nobody has to overcome their fears and their insecurities with the devil. Nobody has to, you know, our people can be in shadowy energy and they don't like other people who are independent because the shadowy people invest in their own ways of being in the world. And if that's how they think is like the just and fair way to live your life, they don't like it when other people have moved forward in life and have put in work and effort to love themselves and believe in themselves, because shadowy Taurus energy can be represented by the world, the establishment, structures and ways of society. It can be ways that people view relationship. And if they have their own ideas of what it means to be in a relationship, it could be that we don't ever change. We don't ever deal with our fears and our insecurities and our self-limiting beliefs. Like, this is it. And you should live your life that way because that's how I live my life. Have you ever known people like that? And other people, the devil is about, we can all have fears and insecurities about change as human beings, right? And some people, instead of facing their fears and insecurities, they keep living in the illusion that this is the way we should live our life. This is the way I was brought up. This is the way I view relationships. And this is the way people should act in a marriage. This is the way people should act in a business place. This is the way people should act in this organization or whatever, And they never face their own fears and insecurities to, it's like they turn their back on listening to their inner child truth. I think the divine planted a seed within all of us because the divine wants humanity to grow to its full potential. And in order to grow to our full potential, we have to quit doing things exactly the same way we've always done it, or nothing will change. And we all have been given our own unique talents, skills, and interests, and our own intuition about things that we would like to give birth to emotionally that are different, that are new. We'd like to add on to the foundation, the things that we do love, in order to, here we go from the Seven of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles. Add 3 pentacles to it, another layer of like foundational, another aspect to it, to take what we did like and enjoy. It's just like humanity evolving, over time, How did we go from caveman day to all the things up to present day? And we went through the 1950s, we went through the 1960s, the 1980s, the 2000s, whatever, depending on how old people are. Each one of those phases of life, just like our own, you can look at the phases of humanity as the phases of our own life. We were 5, we were 8, we were 15, we were 18, we were 25, whatever, But somewhere, some people are like, no, this is it. No, whatever this is. When I got to a certain age, I was done. No. Look, I don't know, whatever I've got in the world that I've invested in, that's like what I like. And it was like they became a certain age and they never wanted to grow and mature beyond that. And other people are motivated and inspired to grow and mature beyond that. Some people are in their ego with the devil card here, like, I don't have to grow and mature myself. I'm happy. Look at what I got. I have stability, security. I'm in a family, that maybe is emotionally encouraging and supportive. And they don't ever want to give birth to anything new. Some people, the devil can talk about codependency. I'm codependent on this foundation or my original family group or my friend group or this job for my sense of stability and security in the world, for my emotional stability, um, for my sense of worth and value. Well, we're meant to love and believe in ourselves, to be more independent in the world, to face our fears and insecurities, to speak our truth, to give birth to growing and maturing ourselves, emotionally loving our own foundation enough that we can become independent of the things in the past that we did invest in and that we could have loved, ways of viewing life, relationships, families that we were part of, friend groups we were part of, but not at the expense of I ignore my own inner truth. I ignore loving and believing in myself because I've become so codependent on the establishment or the people in my life that I initially invested in that I'm no longer willing to face any of my fears and insecurities to give birth to anything else, you know? And if you know some people that are very attached to a foundation in their life or a way, it could just be the world. I'm codependent on the world. I look to the world to make me feel stable and secure within myself, to reinforce my emotional well being, you know? Because that's what our shadow nature is kind of aligning with our more worldly nature. And it can be people who are find a lot of fulfillment in indulging in the world, you know, their drugs, their addictions, money, power, whatever. You know, that's what they feel gives them a sense of emotional fulfillment and stability in their life. And the thought of maybe investing more in love and living their foundation from that foundation, they would have a lot of fears or self-limiting beliefs, or, you know, because the Seven of Pentacles being Taurus energy, which is also represented by the Hierophant energy, which has to do with our overarching philosophy of life. If we're going to not make our life about ego and image or immaturity or indulgence or self-centeredness or thinking we have a right to be bossy and controlling, because some people's philosophy of life and how they view relationships is that they should be able to be in relationships with people who maybe are more emotionally connected and more connected in with their emotions, and then that they should just be able to, you know, the devil is kind of like, I will give you the things of the world and you don't have to want for anything else, you know, because they think they have these things of the world and they're happy with those things of the world that they have. That then if they get in relationships with loving, creative, intuitive people, like those people should be happy with those things of the world that they have. But loving, creative, inspired people are driven and motivated not to be imprisoned and enslaved and oppressed and confined by the ego or things of the world. You know, loving, creative, inspired people work to put in effort to drop their baggage. I don't want to be to stay in jobs or in relationships because of the ego and the image and the status and the money and the materialism, you know, or because of my fear or my codependency. I want to be free. And the energy of love, you know, the devil can represent our shadow nature. It wants you to be in your fear and your insecurity and your codependency. And then there's people in the world that want you to be in your fear and your insecurity and your codependency because then they can indulge in a relationship with you. If you love and believe in yourself, you might speak your truth and give birth to something new. And if there's someone who doesn't connect in with themselves emotionally, who doesn't view life as that is something to invest in, you know, maybe they're all caught up in the illusions of the world or themselves, and they don't even want to do love. I want you to be loving, and I want to indulge in a relationship or a foundation or a workplace with you because you're very loving, you're very giving, you're very warm, and all those things. But I don't want to do that myself, but I want to indulge in being in a relationship with you being that way. But then I don't want you to want for anything more. You should quit listening to your intuition. You should quit wanting to give birth to anything new. You should be like happy being in this job or this relationship because we seem to have everything that the world says we should want. And I'm happy with that. But loving people and creative, intuitive people aren't happy with that because it's stifling and it's oppressive. Let's all grow and mature ourselves. Let's all face our fears and insecurities. Let's all self reflect on the truth. Just like some people are kind of codependent and they're looking for a mother figure to, like, I can be, it's kind of like that's what you're supposed to be for them. You're supposed to be like a mother figure on one hand, where you're supposed to indulge them being in shadowy energy. I can be stubborn, prideful, egotistical, immature, indulgent, more about me, my wants, my needs, my lust, my greed. And you're just supposed to indulge me being that way in the foundation. Kind of like they don't want to grow up, and you're supposed to be like a mother figure indulging them in a foundation and keep indulging them being that way. Other people want other people to be codependent on them. You look to me like I'm the mother figure. You look to me for your sense of worth and value. You look to me for your comfort and your love. You look to me like I'm your God in a way. And you're not supposed to listen to your own intuition and want for more. So it's kind of interesting how some people can hold that duality kind of within them. On one hand, they can be very codependent. They haven't learned to love and believe in themselves and listen to their intuition, and they have been unwilling to grow and mature themselves and gain insight and wisdom about why they do what they do. So on one hand, they're looking for a mother figure, but also then they're also looking for other people to look to them as like a mother figure. Like, I represent love for you, even though in the relationship I'm not being just and fair. I'm being immature. I'm being bossy. I'm being manipulative. I'm being controlling. But if you look to me as like, I take the place of love. There is no higher truth or justice to aspire to. There is no other love to aspire to. Even though my love is unhealthy, I want you to be codependent on me. And why do they keep staying that way? Probably because either they have their own codependency and people in their life that they're codependent on that they don't want to like detach from. They could have people in their life that want them to view them as like, you should view me as like the most important person in your life. And if I tell you not to be bold and brave and confident and, don't go with those other people, that you should keep aligned with me. Some of those people are codependent on those people in their life that could be family members, and they don't put in work to give birth to anything new. They're kind of imprisoned and enslaved by people that they've aligned with in their life, and they want you to be imprisoned and enslaved with those same people that are that way of thinking, even if it is a more just investing in ego and image and money and materialism. It's kind of like negative energy doesn't want you to listen to your intuition and love yourself and love your own foundation, to believe in yourself and be more emotionally independent in the world, because then people that are in negative energy, who are imprisoned by their own fears and insecurities or self-centered, prideful, egotistical ways, who maybe like to be bossy and controlling, or are imprisoned to people in their life who are that way with them, that they don't want to become independent from, that you'll keep staying in relationship with them and staying in a little bit of hell with them. And if any of you were in workplaces or relationships like that, you try to offer love to that foundation to get people to walk away from being in their illusion, being in their fear, for them to face some of their fears and their insecurities, to grow and mature themselves and listen to their intuition and love themselves. But we can only do so much, and everybody's got free will, right? And after you have invested in that and done that work and effort, and you did the work within yourself to work through your illusions and some of your fears and your self-learning beliefs, you were ready to give birth to something new emotionally. And you could have love for those people at your workplace, or that you were in friendship or marriages or families with. But if they're not willing to, if they're still caught up in either indulging themselves, like caught up in whatever addictions they're caught up in, or they're more happy and fulfilled, the way they view life, they think, they don't want to do that because it would require them to be more vulnerable. It would require them to put in work and effort to love their foundation, to get out of their fears and their insecurities and their self-learning beliefs. And they have free willingly chose to align with being happy, indulging themselves in the world, or making their life more about money and materialism. Then we just have to, in the Page of Swords, see the truth of it, that everybody is where they're at. And at different points in times in our life, other people could have moved away from us because we had issues that we had to work with, and it didn't say anything personally about them. We just weren't on the same page as them. Well, we have people in our life right now that aren't on the same page as us. And we just have to be willing to see the truth of it. And we deserve to be in stable, grounded workplaces and relationships with people who invest in love, who have also walked away from some of those old ways of being. They're no longer caught up in the illusion. It's just like shedding layers of your fear and your insecurity and your prideful, egotistical, selfish, greedy, immature ways of being. And we like to be in a relationship with people who are on the same page as us, who have also shed some of those layers within themselves. And as you were moving forward in your life, there could have been someone that you believe you could give birth to a new foundation with. And in the Page of Swords, being a messenger, you might have communicated to someone that, you're going to give birth to something new. What are they going to keep investing in? And those people right now could be considering what they're going to invest in. How am I going to live my life moving forward? Am I going to make it more about being, if some of them right now are in their pride and ego, they're wondering if they should add love to their foundation and quit kind of investing in things in their life that kind of might be unhealthy, and deal with their own issues to believe in themselves, or if they've been operating more out of pride and ego, to see if they're willing. It's kind of, maybe it is like the last call, and the Empress doesn't have to be a female. The feminines in tarot could talk about our emotional state, and it's kind of more metaphorical. You emotionally are ready to give birth to something new. And before we give birth to something new, we do go through a painful period of transition, and we have to work with the issues within ourselves. There's things and ways of being that we are still attracted to. There could be people in our life that we're still attracted to, people that we wish would move forward with us, work cooperatively with us in a workplace or a family or whatever. But if they're not willing to speak their truth, and the Empress energy is Libra Taurus energy, they'd have to be willing emotionally to put in work and effort within themselves to get balanced within their foundation, because Libra is represented by the scales of justice. Taurus is about putting in work and effort and investing time, energy, and effort. Some people never planned in their philosophy of life and how they plan to work together with others in foundations. Some of them never planned to really be more emotionally vulnerable and invested. They kind of did have this illusion that I can get in relationships and I don't have to let my more vulnerable, loving nature out to play in the world. I can keep that hidden. And if I have these, maybe these things of the world, people will want to be in relationship with me. And I think I'll just be happy indulging in a relationship with them, but not really letting my more emotionally vulnerable, loving nature come out to play. And some of you are in relationship with people who still think that's how they want to live their life. And that's not how you want to live your life, because it is kind of like you being loving and giving and warm and open and authentic and all those things, and the other person kind of indulging themselves being in a relationship with you being that way, but them not being that way. And you want to give birth to being in foundations with people who have faced their fears and insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs, to be more vulnerable and open and loving in a foundation. That's your dream relationship, and other people have their own ideas of what their dream relationship is. And then there's some people that are really consumed by ego and image and, lust and greed, and that is their dream relationship. And they could be looking to see who they could invest in right now. For some, it's to go get in relationship with people who have the things of the world that they want. Or if they were to combine what they have with what those people have, they would look like they have it all. And that's their goal in life, to look like they've got it all, so that other people look at them and view them as having it all. It's about the image and the status and the money. And they don't even really care about love. I just want other people to view me as having it all. And I don't even care for some that it's an unhealthy relationship. If it makes it look like I'm victorious and successful, that I have it made in the world, I'll put up with the selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, whatever people. Some people are willing to indulge people who are like that in the world, because then it makes them look like they have it all. And they don't maybe love and believe in themselves. And that could just be how they view life. Isn't that what relationships are about? Is to get in relationships for the stability and the security and the status and the power and whatever. And the high vibe people have probably been in relationships like that, learned the lessons they were meant to learn from that. And they've walked away from those type of people. They've gained insight and wisdom that it's about love, that is their truth. And they're not going to ignore their inner child nature. And, kind of use their gifts. Our gifts is our, loving, creative, sexually, how we can use all those things to connect in with people. Other people abuse those aspects within themselves for their own, it's kind of like abusing themselves, because they're using those more pure, innocent traits within themselves to get what they want in the world, which is kind of like abusing their inner child and their loving nature. And we could have gotten in relationships like that with people because we had to learn to love ourselves and believe in ourselves. The devil is always prowling around. Shadowy people are always prowling around for people who've left one investment and walked away from it, who might be very stable and grounded and nurturing and loving. And it's like, I want to indulge. I want to be like the next person to indulge in a relationship with you. And I'm going to try to stop you from giving birth to anything new. I don't want you to give birth to the type of foundation you deserve to be in, So you have to listen to your intuition. As you're moving forward in your life, you're going to have shadowy people communicate with you that they love you or want to be in a relationship with you. But why? shadowy Empress energy is people who emotionally want to be surrounded by luxury in life, who want to be indulged in life. Like if you're, again, a very loving, nurturing, giving person, that's them emotionally indulging in a relationship with you. You're giving it to them. But they present themselves, the devil is Capricorn energy. They could present themselves as being a very stable, grounded, nurturing, emotionally mature person, but they're maybe not. And you're going to have to listen to your intuition. There could be other people who are very attracted to you, and they truly do love you, but they need to, um, the attraction can be strong, and it can make people be kind of like possessive and controlling, and you're going to have to listen to your intuition about different people you come across as you move forward in your life to discern who are the people who are presenting an illusion of being unstable and grounded and loving, but really they're kind of immature and emotionally indulgent and more about themselves and more about pride and ego than love. And if it's not, if you, well, I think you're going to meet people like that as you go forward, because that's just a fact of life. Eight of Swords is what's coming next because of the Six of Wands. If you're leaving a job or a career or a relationship to give birth to something new, you're tired of being up in your head about the people you were working with. And if you know some people are very prideful, egotistical, materialistically driven, you're done being up in your head about it. It's like they're going to live their life. You've seen the truth probably in the Page of Swords. You know that that's more what they're driven and motivated by in the world, or they have a lot of fears and insecurities they never deal with, and they're up in a mental prison. And yeah, you're letting go of the people in the world who are up in a mental prison about love, and you're no longer in your ego about it. People who've done the work within themselves are willing to be open and giving and warm. And the people who haven't done the work within themselves are imprisoned and enslaved by their fear and their insecurities and their emotionally defensive nature. It's not anything because of you. We can't make other people do that work within themselves to figure out, why am I so afraid of being vulnerable in the world? Why am I so afraid of letting go of my emotionally defensive nature? And they're going to repeat some patterns of relationship. There's something in their foundation that they haven't seen the truth of. And that could be that, they haven't just learned to love themselves, or they're codependent and they don't want to see that, or they're selfish and greedy and prideful and self-centered and it's all about them and they don't want to see the truth of that. People would meditate on the truth to heal from the past if they were motivated to see the truth. And some people aren't motivated to see the truth about themselves or others in their life. Some people right now are being manipulated and controlled by other people in their life, and they don't want to see the truth of it. Some people do have a very superficial, shallow view of life, and they don't want to admit the truth to themselves. Some people are selfish and greedy and prideful and egotistical, and they don't want to see the truth. They prefer to live in illusion. They want to keep emotionally investing in their idea of life. Because in order to do life differently, they would have to walk away from their illusions that this is the way life is meant to be, this is the way relationships are supposed to be. They're kind of looking for other people to buy in to the illusion that they have about the world or about themselves or how they view relationships. And they're looking for other people who are on the same page as them. Perfect. Is that how you view life too? Do you view life about indulging your more immature, indulgent nature or your addictions? Perfect. Me too. Oh, are you all about getting in relationships because of money and status and image and materialism out of codependency? Me too. Perfect. You're my kind of guy or gal. Let's get married. Let's both of us turn our back on listening to our inner child nature that wishes we would love ourselves and give birth to getting out of our head and our fear and our insecurity and getting out of our ego and being free. Oh no, we can't do that. What would the world say if we didn't conform to the world? What would the world say if we were bold and brave and confident and loved and believed in ourselves and didn't buy into all this bullshit and didn't stay in jobs and relationships because of our fear and our insecurity and the ego and the image and the money? What if we went and really lived our life the way we authentically wanted to live our life and went and gotten the jobs and this and career fields that we really love, even though they don't have the money or the image or the status, or we just believe in ourselves enough to believe that the divine can bring us more stability and abundance in our life than living our life out of fear and insecurity ever could? What if we went and got in the relationships with the people we really love and were motivated and inspired by, instead of trying to manipulate people to stay in relationship with us out of their fear and their insecurity? I don't think people who try to dominate over other people can feel very proud of themselves for the fact that they're, oh, are you fearful and insecure? Can I manipulate you and control you? Perfect. Let's be in a relationship. Let's get married. Anyway, if you've known some people like that in your life, and you know other people who might keep being manipulated by some people in their life, you've moved on. You got out of your competitive energy about it, your ego about it. They are driven and motivated by what they're driven and motivated by. And it's probably not being bold and brave and creative and authentic in the world. It's probably not speaking their truth. It's probably not ever having to overcome their fears and insecurities. It's probably about never having to give birth to anything new. Quit living more from their mind than their heart, being more bold and brave and confident in the world. And you are. And you're detaching and moving away from people like that. You're not caught up in the same illusions and fear that they are. The King of Wands, the Page of Cups, the High Priestess, because of the Justice card. If we have a dualistic nature and we live in a dualistic world, the divine loving energy, your own loving energy within yourself, loving energy as an energy in itself within the world, or the divine or God, wants you to get the justice you deserve, wants you to be in just and fair and balanced relationships. It wants you to love yourself so you're not tipped out of balance, being in your fear, in your insecurity, in your self-limiting beliefs, being oppressed and limited and confined and restricted by other people in your life, much less yourself. To get balanced within yourself, to be bold and brave and confident, to get justice for your inner hopeful, loving, believing nature. And how do we do that? We do that by offering love to our own worldly foundation and incorporating love into our own philosophy of life towards our own foundation. I deserve to move forward and love myself and know my worth and value. I deserve to put in the work and effort to overcome my own fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs, to see the truth that I deserve to be my own best mother, father, coach voice within myself, to love and believe in myself, because we're not children anymore. We're adults. We are meant to learn to free ourselves from our fearful, insecure nature, to keep loving and growing and maturing ourselves, to get out of our head, to get out of being in our head about, well, don't I need to compete in the world? And isn't it about image and status and blah, blah, blah? Let the other people compete and keep up with the Joneses. It's about loving and believing yourself and listening to your intuition to guide you, not your fear, not your insecurity, not your ego. To take bold, brave, creative, inspired action in your life, to be a leader in your own life, to stand up for your more pure, innocent, loving nature, that other people aren't going to move forward with me if they're not doing that same thing within themselves and letting their intuition guide them, being balanced within themselves. Because if they're not balanced, I would have to indulge them in their shadowy energy, being stubborn, being prideful, being manipulative, being bossy, being controlling, being egotistical, and I'm not getting the justice I deserve. And I deserve to be in a relationship with people who treat me the way I treat them. Other people who have grown and matured themselves, who don't act out of their fear and their insecurity and their need to control and, all that stuff. And those are, there's other people in the world doing this at the same time you are. And there's probably people in your life between siblings and parents and children and friends and coworkers who also don't like to be oppressed and limited and controlled by people who are trying to manipulate them with money or lust or greed or love, not trying to use their love against them. Loving people are loving. Loving people get out of their ego. Loving people are just and fair and balanced. Loving people are not bossy and controlling and it has to be my way or the highway. Let me try to manipulate you with money or materialism or emotionally to keep you aligned with me, even though I want to keep moving forward in pride and ego. I still want to be bossy and controlling. I still think my way of living life is just and fair, even though it's not just and fair. But I don't want to see the truth of it, and I'm in denial that I have some issues to deal with. So I'm sure you have, if nothing else, know that there's loving people in the world who don't act like that in the world, who don't try to manipulate and control people, who are truthful and honest and vulnerable and loving, who are bold and brave enough to be open and honest and loving, still having good boundaries, you know. But, you know, people have to walk the talk. And if they're not doing that, then you're distancing yourself from them. People can present any illusion they want in the world. Oh, I'm just, I'm fair. We're not prideful. We're not manipulative. I'm not bossy and controlling. It doesn't always have to be my way. I'm not self centered and egotistical. They create this illusion to get you to invest in a foundation with them. And then as time goes by and you're happy thinking like, you've gotten this new job or this new friend or this new organization or this new relationship. And then, the shadow nature shows itself. And then they're hoping because you got into the job or into the relationship or into the marriage or into the friendship group or whatever, that you will have all this inner conflict about listening to your intuition and your truth to move away from it. And they're hoping they've kind of got you trapped, right? Because that's what the devil does. I hope I have you trapped. And that because of your want for this job or the stability or the security or the image or the status that it provides, or just that it's fearful to go off and get a new job or go get in a new relationship, that fear within you will allow me to be kind of immature in this relationship, and that you'll keep looking to me as the source of love instead of listening to your intuition and the source of your foundation. And you'll keep emotionally investing in this because instead of taking bold, brave, confident action and loving and believing in your dreams and listening to your intuition, you'll settle for less than you deserve. And I think you're moving on, and you're going to move on. And the wands are about communication. The page of swords is about communication. The page of cup can be about a communication. You are moving forward, communicating to other people in the world. Kind of like you bossy, controlling, emotionally manipulative, secretive people of how you think what is just and fair, get out of my way. I ain't dealing with that anymore. But those of you in the world who are bold and brave and confident, who harness high vibe, Leo, Gemini, Libra, Aries, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. If you are people who are bold and brave and confident, and you've done the work within yourself, you protect in a healthy way your vulnerable nature from shadowy people in the world, and you're looking to get in relationship and work with other people who do that same work within themselves, then you're the people I want to work with. because that's where I'm going to get my divine inheritance, is working with people who've done the work within themselves to grow and mature themselves, who are bold and brave and confident, who are willing to be nurturing and loving, who also listen to their intuition to guide them instead of their fear and their insecurity and their pride and their ego to make the decisions in their life. Yay! High vibe Scorpios are moving forward, getting the justice they deserve. Shadowy Scorpios are going to keep not turning their back on life giving energy, listening to their own inner child nature that's wanting them to give birth to something new, to get out of their ego. But they're in their ego, and they're in their fear, and they're in their insecurity, or their want to manipulate and control people and keep doing life the way they've done it. And they're maybe going to try to get in a relationship with someone to make it look like they've got it all. And they're going to indulge themselves in that relationship while they're in it. And it's going to be all about them and their wants and their needs and their lust and their greed and their pride and their ego and their fear and their insecurities. And high vibe people are really going to get the justice they deserve. So there you go. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.